excited today. We have a special guest. I have Michelle of Pioneer Synergy here with us, and we're going to have some awesome discussions today. I'm going to let her introduce herself so you guys can get to know Michelle a little better.
Hey, aloha everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Michelle, for being here.
Can you hear me okay on the mic?
I can hear you perfect.
Okay, cool, because I'm at the park right now, so you never know. So what would you like to know? Basically, just some background about, where I've come from, or just what I'm up to nowadays?
You could, yeah, you know what? Let's start and tell them your story first, so they can know how you became who you are right now, living in Hawaii, which is amazing, as you guys can see. I don't know if you guys can see the ocean, but she's there. She's in Hawaii. So yeah, tell them your story.
Sure. So I'll give you just a little bit of background so you kind of understand some of my journey. So I'd say it was about maybe like 6 years ago, I reached a really low point in my life where a relationship of 4.5 years, we broke up. I was devastated. And so after that happened, I moved back home and was like, wow, what am I doing with my life? I compromised a lot of my dreams, with my ex-boyfriend and all, and I wasn't living my life the way that I wanted to. And so it really gave me a lot of time to think about what I was doing. And I realized that, I felt like I was in a nightmare of my own creating. And so I basically took that time, which, by the way, I was sleeping on the basement couch because they had given my room away to my younger sister. And so I didn't even have a room anymore. And I slept on the basement couch for 2 years so that I could get clarity and really think about what I wanted to do in my life. I thought that was going to take me 9 months, but usually it takes us a little bit longer. So I spent a lot of time on that basement couch thinking about what I wanted to do. And I had always had this dream of moving to a tropical environment and really serving people all around the world by helping them to awaken to their gifts and their talents and to share that with the world. So I had this miraculous opportunity come up where I was able to work for a personal development company online. It wasn't even a paid position at the point, but I had this whole premonition that I was going to move to Hawaii and I was going to become this superhero of my own life, and I was going to do it. And so long story short, all of that stuff happened. I got invited out to Hawaii, and I literally left from the basement couch out to Hawaii. And so I've been out here about 4 years now, and I came here with 2 suitcases, just a little bit of money, a hope and a prayer, and really believing in this vision. And so here I am today. And what I've been up to over these last 4 years is working online, primarily in the entrepreneurial world. I was supporting other entrepreneurs by doing everything from assistant coaching to their enrollment calls for their programs and the retreats, and doing virtual assistant work, and all that stuff trained me and really molded me and helped evolve me to where I'm at today, which is Pioneer Synergy. And that's basically working with other pioneers, people that have a vision or a dream with their creative work, that want to expose it to a wider audience online. So I help those people to work through all of their inner blocks, their beliefs, doubting themselves and doing all that stuff so that they can really get solid and empowered in what they need to do to share that out there into the world. Because whenever you share creative work, it's always going to be criticized. So it's about helping people to really become empowered in what they do and hence pioneer their own path to success. So that's what I'm up to today. And does that answer your question?
Perfectly. That's great. So that gives you guys a good background of how Michelle made it to Hawaii and is living her dream on a beautiful island, which is amazing. We wanted to talk today about boundary issues, and I want to touch on a little bit about that. So I know myself especially, I have a lot of issues with establishing boundaries and stopping myself, or let me rephrase that. I have issues with telling people no so that I can get what I need to get accomplished. And it's something that I've struggled with for a while. And this year I really made a commitment to, really put that box up to say, hey, I'm blocking you out right now. I need to do what I have to do. And you're going to have to step back for a little while and let me do what I have to do. And I know a lot of other people do experience this, whether it's professionally or personally. So I just wanted to kind of talk with you a little about that and get some of your advice and tips that, have helped you on your journey and path of being in the entrepreneur world because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people aren't aware of, and a lot of that has to do with being able to tell people no and, you know, keep people at bay while you're accomplishing what you need to accomplish. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what has helped you establish those boundaries so that you can get what you need accomplished?
Yeah, so I've learned a lot about boundaries, and especially, you know, supporting the entrepreneurs. They became my teachers and my mentors, and I learned so much from them about how to really protect my time and my energy, because your energy is your greatest asset. When you're here to be of service and help others and really get your work out into the world, you want to make sure that you're protecting your energy so that you're always in a good space to be able to do your artwork or to do your work in the way that you need to, where you have a clear state of mind, you feel energized and refreshed. Yeah, there's over here. They always seem to go off at the right moment, just like saying, I agree with you.
That was your okay, you're doing great. Keep it up.
Yeah, I was like, thank you. No, but really, boundaries, I learned so much about that, and it's helped me a lot in my life to be able to get my work out there, because for the longest time, kind of like what you said, I'd have a friend call me or text me, and I would just drop whatever I was doing in the moment and pick it up, and it was like I was on call all day for these other people and not giving to myself. You know, put you in a victim position, and I realized that I don't want to be like a victim. I want to be the creator, the co-creator of my reality. I want to claim my power back and really harness that to get my work out there, and I can still help others. But it's kind of like that saying you hear if you were on an airplane and you experience turbulence and the oxygen masks drop down. They tell you to put your mask on first before you help others, because even if it's your family or your friends, if you don't have that oxygen, how are you going to help other people? So that's the way that I like to look at things. It's not like we're cutting out our loved ones or being mean to them, but it's really about having strong, healthy boundaries of when you're on with your professional work and when you're off, and vice versa with your personal life as well, so that you're not mixing everything and it's all over the place and you feel like it's chaotic. You actually feel like you are empowered to respond when you want to. So that's what the difference is from being like this kind of chicken with your head cut off, running around, answering calls, always on the go, which, by the way, they've done studies. Most people that are always busy like that, they actually are less productive, as opposed to having it come at you, but knowing how to prioritize what can be put off on a shelf until later, so to speak, what needs to get handled now, and how to really do that in a way so you can be the most productive to get your work out there.
Sorry, I'm just grabbing a pen. I want to take some notes here. This is very good wisdom here.
That's all good. I love it. I like to write it down too, because if you don't, then it'd be a fleeting thought.
Exactly. So I have a question. What are some tips to not just to be able to establish those boundaries, but what are some tips that that can help somebody know how to prioritize their time and know what's more important? Like, figure out what needs to get done first and what they can put off for later, especially for people in the entrepreneur world.
Okay, so you're asking me what would be one tip around what to focus on first, or how to create the boundary to focus on that?
Let's do how to create the boundary to focus on that.
Okay, yeah, I think that one's really important too. So if you're working on something and you need to get it out, and if you don't have a date on it, by the way, you should put a date on it. Otherwise, you'll come up with all sorts of excuses to not put it out there. It's better to ship it out there imperfectly than to not get it out there at all, which is one of the biggest culprits for creative people, is that they think it can be at a certain point and then it never gets out there. So have that date on it and really take your work seriously, because what sets amateurs apart from professionals is that professionals say, look, it's going to go out on this date, I'm going to get it done, and they do it. Whereas an amateur is kind of like, well, I wasn't like totally feeling it, and then like this happened with my friend and I had to go help them. There's a big difference there. And in fact, there's a really good book about that too by Stephen Pressfield that I wrote, that I read, and it's called Going Pro. So if you're interested in learning more, I'd recommend that book. That was a game changer for me as well to read from him. And so my tip would be, when you're working on that project, that you create a firewall of protection around you for your boundaries. So how does that look? Well, that means that perhaps you shut off your smartphone, right? I didn't know this 3 years ago, believe it or not, as tech savvy as I am, there was a off button for airplane mode on the iPhone. And one day I was talking to a fellow friend and colleague of mine, and I was, oh my God, I was really upset. I need your advice on this. Like, my phone just keeps going off, all these messages, and Skype, and text, and all these people are asking all these questions, and I feel so overwhelmed. I don't know how to focus on anything. And he put his hand on my shoulder, and he laughed at me, and he was like, oh, this is good. You're just up level. Which basically meant that I was going to a new level of fulfillment. And it's my time. He could shut the airplane mode off.
Wait. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Is it the airplane?
No, I don't know what it was. There was an airplane that went over?
Yeah.
That must have been it, because it just, like, cut out for a second and then said poor connection. Can you say that last sentence one more time?
I don't know what I said. Why don't you just, okay, basically.
Oh, the leveling up.
The what?
The last thing I heard was leveling up.
Oh, yeah. So, I know we had a little bit of connection problem there. So, basically, my friend was saying to me, he's like, Michelle, you're going to be fine. You're just up-leveling in your life. And what he meant by that is that I was going to a new level of my personal evolution, my self-development. And I just needed to learn how to manage these things better with my time and my energy. So my tip for you would be, shut your phone off. You don't always need to be on call. You don't owe these people anything. If it's your family member, if it's an emergency, you can get back to them afterwards, but create that block of time, at least an hour, so you can stay focused, because you really need some time to create the brainwave state in your mind to get into your creative work. So if you're working and 10 minutes someone's texting you and then someone's calling you and you're constantly looking at your phone, that's interfering with your ability to focus. So my first tip would be just shut your phone off, and also shut all your windows on your computer if you're online, and don't look at Facebook, don't look at Instagram, don't do Snapchat, don't do any of that stuff. Block that out for now. Focus on your craft, invest in you.
I think Facebook is a big issue for a lot of people. I've actually told...
I know.
I had a conversation with like 3 people in the last week, and I was like, listen, I've created this new habit of I only go on Facebook twice a day, whereas I used to go on Facebook constantly. Like, it was just... I was like a fiend. Like, I just had to just open that app and just go in the newsfeed. Now, I only go on twice a day. Once in the daytime and then once in the evening. I only check my messages in the evening. I do not check them all day long. Because I find it very distracting. Very distracting. Although I still love Facebook. I just can't.
Yeah, no, I feel you, and I do the same thing. It's like what you said, having a clear intention of how often you're going to go on there, why you're going on there, and then to follow through and have that discipline to do it, because, like you said, otherwise it's, an addiction and you want more of it, and especially in today's culture, everything is instant gratification. Mm-hmm. But when it comes time to putting your creative work out there, you really want to finesse it, you really want to give it love, you want to, plant the seed and have it grow and mature into this beautiful thing over time instead of just So that's really smart of you to do that, and if more people did that, then they'd be able to get their work out there.
Absolutely. I see the rooster in the background.
Oh, really?
He's hanging out over there.
Oh, we got another one over here too. Sometimes they're brazen and they hop on the table and all, but
really? Wow.
Yeah, they think that I'm gonna feed it.
Oh, they're like that in Puerto Rico too. Very similar. What was I? Oh, about discipline. So I think that's kind of what a lot of it boils down to, is just disciplining yourself. Like, you have to hold yourself accountable, right? Nobody else can hold you accountable but you. Nobody else is going to say, hey, you need to turn off your phone and get your work done. If you're an entrepreneur, you're not going to have anybody that's micromanaging you. It's up to you to micromanage yourself and to make sure that you stay on track and stay focused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, whether you're like a self-employed person or you're just wanting to get your creative work out there into the world, I mean, this applies to anybody. You need to have that discipline to believe in yourself and your work enough that you're going to take it seriously to put it out there. And that's why so many people don't, because because it's easier to have someone else say, hey, look, just show up for this job and do this. You don't have to think much, and then you can kind of check out and do what you want to do. So you need to really check yourself before you get into this and say, am I really up for this? And the discipline can be fun too. It doesn't have to be like all serious at times. There's a balance, but you definitely need to cultivate that discipline. Otherwise, you're just spinning the wheels.
Absolutely, I agree. I wanted to touch on one more thing because I know we have a few minutes left, but I just wanted to talk about one more thing.
Yeah.
So going back to like the friends and the family and them always wanting your attention. For me, because I'm I've always been a pushover. I easily get, I feel bad when people are like, oh, but I need you. What would you tell somebody like me who has a hard time saying no? What's like maybe some good verbiage for them to use to tell other people no without being harsh about it?
Yeah, I know what you mean on that too, because I've done a lot of work around that. I think I'm like a reformed people pleaser, and
I like that.
Would always give so much that I wasn't giving to myself, so I couldn't receive, because there's supposed to be a give and take in all relationships, and if you're always giving, then you're putting everything out of balance because you're not able to receive. And so it's not about, being an asshole, let's say. You can still be nice, but there's a way to do it assertively with love, right? So something that I would say, let's say a friend or a family member wants me to go out somewhere, or they really need to talk to me about something. Like, everybody has drama. We all have a little bit of drama to a certain extent, otherwise it'd be boring. So say a family member is texting me about some kind of drama that's going on. I can evaluate it right there in that moment and just figure out, like, okay, is this really an urgent situation? Or is it them just creating some stuff that then makes me feel good because they need me and I'm going to help them? And if it's that kind of scenario, then I'm like, oh, well, right now I'm working on this project. So I could just say to them, it depends on the context, whether it's over the phone or it's through a text or whatever. Depending on that, I could just say, hey, look, I'd be more than happy to catch up with you another time, or I'd be happy to catch up with you after I'm done. But right now I'm working on this really important project. Love ya! Exclamation point. Something short and sweet, whatever is in your voice to do that, because I'll just share with you really quickly. In my past, I used to attract a lot of friends that just wanted to talk about their problems, and then I would, give them all this advice, and I'm like, what is it in me that's attracting this? And then I would tell them stuff, and then they wouldn't change anyway. It was this cycle, and I'm like, okay, this is not healthy. And so I looked at myself and what I needed to adjust within myself, and then when these people would come back into my life, I wouldn't feed into that, and I would just keep it really to the point and loving. And if they got upset with me, I wasn't going to take that personal. I would let them just sit in their stuff for a little bit and do what I need to do and come back later. And as long as you're coming from a loving place, generally people will come around and they'll realize if they were freaking out on you for no reason at all, and they'll apologize. But if you engage in that kind of energy, you're creating the same thing, and really they don't need that. So you can kind of hover above that and still get back to you and still be loving. Does that make sense? Is that clear what I'm saying?
Yes, it is. I love it too. It's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one, and I feel like everybody goes through that though at some point or another in their lives where they're just so giving. 'Cause, I think we're naturally designed in a way to kind of want to give and want to help other people, and then we forget about ourselves. I was like that for a very long time. I totally was so busy with everybody else in their world that I don't even think I had my own world because I was too busy involved in everybody else's,
You're in everybody, right. And you know what, I'm glad you brought that up, because especially us, where we have this real strong desire to serve and be out there and let our light shine, we can have a tendency, if we're not grounded in the body, to get swept up in doing things for other people. And an indicator that that's happened to you is your feeling. So the emotional guidance system is always going to let you know if you're on point or not. So if you start to feel drained or overwhelmed, or your attitude is, you're getting annoyed by stuff in everyday life, that's an indicator that you're not giving yourself. So whenever I get like that, instead of pointing the finger at other people, I'm like, what are they reflecting in me that I'm not really tending to within myself? And that's what kind of gets me back on not feel bad if a friend or family member is saying they really need my help, unless of course it's an emergency, I drop whatever I needed to, right?
Yeah.
But if it's just some other like little dramas and stuff, I don't feel bad about it anymore. And you really teach people how to treat you. So if you find that you're being taken advantage of and people are doing this, there's something within you that you're still allowing. So it's about claiming back your personal empowerment to not allow that to happen anymore. Because it's like, well, why did they not do that to this other person? But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. So Michelle, if you could just let everybody know where they can find you and kind of what you're up to, what you do with Pioneer Synergy and anything else you have going on.
Yeah, so they can come on over to pioneersynergy.com, and I work with people one-on-one. We can work through like any limiting beliefs or blockages and things that you have around really getting out there and being visible with your work and what you came here to do. And then I also am supporting other pioneers with helping them to get their work out there in the world. So like one of the projects that I'm working on is they interviewed a bunch of leaders in the field of consciousness. And so that's like scientists, researchers, creative artists, digital artists, pioneers in various fields. That's the underlying theme of what it means to have that synergy within pioneers. And then showcasing their work online. And then there's a charitable side where we're actually giving to the local reef foundation here in Hawaii, which if you didn't know, the reefs are massively in decline. It's like a huge issue here. And so we're raising the funding to be able to investigate that further. So that's one of the other projects that I've been working on. And then I do some stuff locally as well. So I'm multi-passionate and very creative at heart. And if you want to learn more about all those projects and perhaps about, working together, just come on over to my website. You can send me a message through there. I'm really down to earth. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. And we can go from there. Oh, and also, too, I'm very active on social media. So if you're in Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/Michelle Pearson, and I'll put it over there. And I give a lot of tips and stories and things over there, too. So it's up to you which way you want to connect.
Either way, I will put all of your links below for them to go ahead and click so that they can go ahead and reach out to you. And
awesome.
as you guys
Thank
you, Michelle. Everybody, I know I could feel your passion and your energy, and I love your energy. Your energy is wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you invited me on here today, and hope to come back sometime soon in the near future, and love what you're up to and everything that you're doing as well. So wishing you a lot of success with that. Thank
you so much. I wish you all of this success in the world.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay to say no. It's very okay to say no. It's okay to tell somebody, you know what, right now I just can't be there for you because I'm really dealing with my own stuff. That's okay.